everybody. David Schuster here. House Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia is now facing public accusations of insider trading. The headlines include Marjorie Taylor Greene's suspicious stock trade soars 29% despite tariffs, and Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene's 17 stock buys in the market crash turned to profits after Trump's tariff pause. More on Greene's trading activity in a moment. First, perhaps related to the controversy, Greene was especially prickly on this day while chairing a congressional hearing.
The American people.
The gentlelady's time has expired. Miss Stansberry, the gentlelady's time has expired. No, you're lying to the American people.
Earlier, from her usual seat, Greene melted down and interrupted Democrat Robert Garcia while he was criticizing Robert Kennedy Jr.
He caused a measles outbreak in another country that caused the death. Absolutely. That caused.
No, he did not.
He absolutely did.
That's a lie.
That is proven.
RFK did not cause a measles outbreak.
Miss Green,
you sound ignorant.
Green, you are an
That's
anti-vax.
ignorant,
You're
and that's
an
a lie.
anti-vax conspiracy
no, I'm
theorist
for
yourself.
choice. I'm
You're
for
the
parents
number one
and people
anti-vax
choosing.
conspiracy theorist.
It's not unusual for Marjorie Taylor Greene to be obnoxious, but her especially short fuse now comes amidst growing pressure on her to explain mysterious stock trades that seemed perfectly timed with the Trump administration's tariffs and then U-turn.
You know, given what the government's been doing and this administration's been doing, it would not shock me, and I hate to speculate, if we were to find out that a whole bunch of people who work in Washington as our elected leaders, one way or the other, ultimately sold stocks last week, or potentially worse than that, shorted the market.
Specifically related to Greene, the analyst Unusual Whales wrote on social media, "This is unusual." Yesterday, politician Marjorie Taylor Greene said that people panicking over tariffs are losers and failures. Today, she disclosed over a dozen stock purchases, purchasing hundreds of thousands of numerous stocks she bought when the market was deeply red. Unusual. According to a public disclosure report, as International Business Times noted, Greene invested in 17 U.S. stocks between the 3rd and 4th of April when the stock market nosedived on Trump's tariff play. From tech, semiconductor logistics, and home furnishings to apparel, banking, construction, and utilities, Greene invested mostly between $1,000 and $15,000 in stocks belonging to these industries when they declined significantly on fears of recession and an escalating global trade war. All of the stocks Greene purchased at the peak of the market crash rebounded yesterday, with some gaining as high as 28% in a single trading session, implying significant profits in a short span. Greene's total wealth is estimated at around $22 million. And while she has a lot of investments in the markets, she does not have a record of consistently picking stock winners. As Finbold reports, given her lackluster stock pick history, Marjorie Taylor Greene is not the likeliest member of Congress to thrive in a challenging market, yet she appears to be one of the few investors to have recorded significant gains in recent weeks. Did Marjorie Taylor Greene get tipped off by the Trump White House about the tariff plan and then later about the Trump U-turn? Here's Democrat Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
I've heard murmurings on the floor that there may have been people that knew that this was coming. And I'm very interested in seeing some of the stock disclosures that come out in when those reports are due. And I'm very interested in what members of Congress have been buying and trading stocks in the last 24 hours prior to this tariff announcement.
AOC is also raising questions about President Trump. A few hours before President Trump announced he was backtracking on most tariffs, causing stocks to skyrocket the rest of the trading session, Trump wrote on social media, "This is a great time to buy." Trump insiders who followed Trump's advice then made a huge profit.
I don't think that it was a coincidence. I don't think that Trump just coincidentally said buy stocks and then shortly later made an announcement that dramatically inflated and dramatically raised a lot of these asset prices.
On CNN, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders said the entire sequence of events involving Trump, his staff, and supporting lawmakers in Congress looks horrific.
I don't know for a fact. But would I be surprised if there were people who hours before knew exactly what Trump was going to do in rescinding his tariff proposals, understanding that the stock market would soar and you make huge amounts of money? Would I be shocked if we learned about that in the days to come? No, I would not.
Does that announcement that he gave cover to anybody who did buy stocks?
Well, what it does do, look, if you know 2 hours earlier that the stock market's going to go, what are you going to do? You're going to buy a hell of a lot of stock. You can invest in the stock market.
For his part, at the White House, Donald Trump laughed and bragged about his billionaire friends who made a market killing in the trading session as soon as Trump eased the tariffs.
Schwab. It's not just a company, it's actually an individual. And he made $2.5 billion today, and he made $900 million. That's not bad. He's in financials. I've always been fine.
One of the biggest critics of the Trump administration is former House member and current U.S. Senator Adam Schiff. He is now demanding, urgently, an insider trading investigation.
In any administration this corrupt, it is more than necessary to ask, were people personally profiting from insider information while people's savings, their retirement accounts, were being torched? So we're writing to the White House to demand answers. Now, I am fully cognizant of the fact that the White House is probably the last place to be forthcoming about this or any other corruption in the administration. We in Congress need to do more than demand answers. We need to do the oversight necessary to get those answers. To date, Republicans have not been willing to do this. Not when it comes to insider trading, potentiality, not when it comes to anything.
And one of those Republicans in Congress who has blocked Democratic efforts is Marjorie Taylor Greene. But now, given her success in profiting from the Trump tariffs and then profiting from the Trump U-turn, there are growing calls for any investigation to include Greene. As it stands, she is already one of the most despised lawmakers in both parties. Now, her Democratic and Republican critics are claiming that Greene is also sleazy and corrupt. By the way, Trump White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt is getting fact-checked by Fox News over Leavitt's claims that Trump's tariff moves are part of a masterful strategy and that the media is ignorant and naive.
Many of you in the media clearly missed the art of the deal. You clearly failed to see what President Trump is doing here.
But what Trump is doing, according to Fox News, is backing down and folding. Here's Fox business correspondent Charles Gasparino.
I want to tell you right now that Donald Trump outsmarted the world. Trust me, I'm an American. I support my president. But that's not really what happened here, from what I understand. What happened in the bond market overnight, the spike in yields on the 30-year and the 10-year bond, which showed that people were dumping our bonds. And who were those people dumping our bonds? Japan, the biggest holder of bonds, was selling bonds. That's what I'm getting from some very big money managers. China, maybe to some extent, but it was largely Japan and others. If you have a mass sale of bonds, that means people are losing confidence in the U.S. economy, on the ability to do deals with us. And from what I understand, this is what forced the hand of this 90-day reprieve.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Mary Bird, who wrote, "No one believes Caroline anymore. Why does anyone ever show up for her press conferences? She's just spewing bull." I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about Marjorie Taylor Greene feeling the heat as insider trading accusations against her pile up. I'm David Schuster. Thanks for joining us.